Hi everyone and welcome back to our skill tree tutorial series. This is part 4 and in this part we're looking at prerequisites. Prerequisites, what are they? Well, they are the requirements you need in order to unlock a certain skill. Usually this is another skill to unlock prior to the one you're getting. So we're going to look at how to set this up in a data asset and then later on show how to put this into UI. So let's jump in. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to store this data on the data asset. So make your way over to the data asset. And in here, we need to add the variable for prerequisite. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's spelled it wrong. Prerequisite. It's close enough. And then we're going to set this to the data assets that we're looking for. So DA skill, like this. And this will be an array because you may have multiple skills that you want to have completed before you can unlock this one. Okay. Now, there may be other prerequisites you may want to do. For example, in some games, you can't unlock a skill unless you've got a certain level on your character or you reach a certain point in the story. Whatever the prerequisite is, you can put that in here. You just obviously store it the way you want to determine that. So if it is, say, a level, this has to be like an integer indicating what level this unlocks at. If it is a progress point in the game, then you need to know like a string ID or integer, or anything that you're using to identify when that progress has been made. So up to you what you want to do here, but I'm going to keep it the most common way, which is using skills. So you have to complete the previous skill to unlock this skill. So I have that there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a function here to determine whether or not we have the prerequisites completed. So we're going to go to functions. Are prereq. Can't type. Sit met. Are prerequisites met? Now for this, we need to have a reference to the component which is storing our skill tree. So go to inputs and we're going to search for the skill tree. And you want the component, so the AC skills. And we'll put that as the component there. So now we're going to take our prerequisite here. And we're going to go do a for each loop to see if we've got every single one of the requirements in here met. So let's put that there. And we're going to compare that to the component. So I can just drag from here, or I can just search for the word component and scroll right down, usually it's at the bottom. It is. And that is the same as dragging from here. So from here, I want to query whether I have a certain skill or not. So we can do query skill. And I want to take the skill into the rate element there. Now, we've got this returning the rank and the return value. So what I may want to do is check, have we maxed out that rank? And if we, or if we want to just say unlock it, if you've unlocked at least one rank of that skill, then you just use the return value. We're going to do it by rank. So you have to complete all the ranks of the previous skills in order to get this one. So we're going to look at the rank here, and we're going to compare it to the values that exist on the skill. So I'm going to take out from here, get the values, and then from the values, we're going to get the keys. And these are your different ranks. So rank 1, 2, 3, so on. So on the ranks here, I want to see if this is equal to the last index of this. So last index. And we'll do equals that there. And we'll put that into a branch. Okay. So this is going to go through each one of the prerequisites. So what we want to do is we want to say if this is false, we want to break out of our for each loop, our function, because there's no point in checking all the rest if one fails. Okay. So on the false here, we're going to do a return node. And the return for this is going to be a Boolean, whether it's successful or not. So let's go Boolean and all met. And that'd be false, obviously, in this case. If it manages to get through the whole lot without returning false, then on completed here, I'm going to return true. Okay. And this is why I like data assets, is that you can put functions on here to make it a little bit easier to discern various different items. Now, bear in mind, with data assets, you can't do things that are world context sensitive. So, for example, you can't do things like get player character. That doesn't exist because a data asset does not belong to the world. It belongs to the entire game. So there's no way to know who the player character is. So if you want to get any reference to it, you have to pass it through as an input like we did here. Okay. And we can also make this a pure function if we want, because we're not setting anything, changing anything. We're just reading data and understanding what we're doing here. Okay. So with that done, now let's go back to our component. And this time we're going to go to assign skill. And on assign skill, we're doing this very simple thing where we're just adding a skill to our skill assigned map. So before that happens, we want to check to see if we can actually do this or not. So we're going to take the skill here and met prerequisites. There we go. And then the component here will be self. This is our condition for branch. So the prerequisites met, true, go there. Now there's one other thing we could do as well to improve the prerequisites met. And that is, what if there is no prerequisite for this? Well, in that case, what we'll do is we'll say is not empty for this array. Put that into branch before the for each loop. So it checks it before. If it's not empty, carry on. If it is empty, great. That means all the prerequisites are met. There's nothing in there. Okay, and there we go. Yeah. Okay, so we can close that. And now we're going to go to the UI side of things. So on the UI, we're going to go to the skill slot. And in here, we need to check if the prerequisites have made it enabled or disabled. Okay, so we are going to take the skill data. And we'll do this on the construct because you can't do this before the game's actually started. Because we want to do has met prerequisites. There you go. But we need a component here. So the component belongs to a player character. So get player character. And get the component by class. And we're going to choose our AC skills. And put that into the component. Now, this is going to be used to determine whether or not the button is disabled or enabled. So we're going to take the button out, set enabled, and plug that into all met. Now, all of this is going to go in a construct, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to collapse all of this down to a function. Reason being is that later on, I'm going to keep checking this. If we were to unlock a skill, I need it to refresh and update whether or not the prerequisites are now met. So it's a lot easier if you just make it a function. You just call the function again when you want. Check prerequisites. Like so. So the updating I'm talking about is when the component understands that something has happened to it. So if we go back to the component here, we need to make an event dispatcher to tell us when the skills have been updated in any kind of way. So go to event dispatcher on skills updated. And we're going to call that at the end here. Let's go back to our skill slot. And on the construct, we want to get a reference to that component and bind to it. So we're going to go to check prerequisites. And what we can do is, because we're already getting the component here, like so, we can bind it right here. So bind event on skills updated. And then drag out the event, create event, and choose create. Not create match function. We'll do check for prerequisites again. There you go. There you go. That is the prerequisites all set up. But now we need to actually test it out. And to test it out, we need to be able to assign our skills to our character. So what we're going to do in the next part is make those buttons interactable. Click on them. We'll see the numbers go up, and we'll see it unlock further skills. You can watch the next part right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley. You can find all my videos early before anyone else from just $1 a month. A massive thank you to all our patrons and YouTube members for their continued support in the channel. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you all next time.